What's happening, Neutron Tech crew? We're hanging out with Lesnoy today, while he tackles an incredible project, constructing an entire house from wooden pallets. Our builder weaves the pallets together into this interconnected platform that looks almost like a giant wooden grid, and watching him work is like seeing someone solve a three-dimensional puzzle in real time. He adds diagonal supports across the corners and walls. This is what carpenters call anti-racking braces. Things get interesting when construction moves skyward and the roof framework starts taking shape. This is where the real engineering magic happens. This part demands serious physical coordination, plus an instinctive understanding of how weight flows through structures and basic geometric principles that most of us forgot after high school. Triangular shapes dominate this phase because they're basically indestructible compared to squares. They spread weight from the peak down to the walls without wanting to collapse or twist, which is why you see them in everything from ancient pyramids to modern bridges. Here's where things get seriously technical. Our craftsman starts putting together a legit wood-burning stove complete with a proper chimney setup. And this isn't some makeshift campfire situation. We're talking about a real heating system. He installs metal plates on the bottom and sides that work like a heat barrier, keeping all that intense heat from turning the surrounding wood into kindling. These can handle temperatures that would make regular wood spontaneously combust. He builds this clever foundation using stones and clay that sits under the stove, which does double duty. It keeps the wooden floor from getting scorched, while also absorbing heat during the day and releasing it slowly through the night, like a natural radiator, sometimes keeping the cabin warm until morning. The stove's cooking surface features these removable cast iron sections that let you place pots right over the flames for rapid boiling, or slide them to the edges when you want a gentler simmer. The smoke system runs from the stove's rear opening through a seriously thick chimney wrapped in stones that climbs the back wall and shoots up past the roof line. We're talking at least 3 feet above the peak for proper draft. That extra height creates powerful natural suction, yanking smoke up and out while making sure it never backs up into the living space. These shipping pallets that used to just move cargo around have become the go-to material for creative builders everywhere, and it makes total sense when you think about it. They're often free for the taking, come in predictable dimensions, and one person can actually move them around without heavy equipment or a crew of helpers. The benefits stack up fast. Minimal cost, standardized measurements that make planning easier, and enough structural integrity to frame up everything from tool sheds to actual tiny homes people live in year-round. But working with pallets isn't all sunshine and rainbows. The wood quality varies wildly, and some pallets get treated with nasty chemicals during their shipping careers that you definitely don't want to breathe or touch daily. Our builder wraps everything in this bright blue synthetic membrane that breathes but blocks water, basically a high-tech rain jacket for buildings that stops moisture infiltration while preventing wind from whistling through the walls and stealing your heat. Once that protective layer goes on, he starts attaching wooden boards to create the exterior finish, transforming what was basically a wrapped box into something that actually looks like it grew right out of the forest, complete with that weathered charm people pay thousands to fake. Those first horizontal strips he nails up create what builders call a ventilation gap or rain screen system, absolutely crucial for letting trapped moisture escape instead of rotting your walls from the inside out, which is the death of most wooden structures. The combination works brilliantly. That membrane stops wind and rain, the air gap keeps everything dry through natural convection, and those shingles take the beating from weather while developing this gorgeous silver-gray patina as they age in the forest environment. Plus, all these layers create serious sound dampening and thermal insulation, turning the cabin into this quiet, cozy retreat no matter what Mother Nature throws at it, from summer thunderstorms to winter blizzards. The total wall thickness ends up being nearly 6 inches of various materials, each serving a specific purpose in the building envelope. Watch how he uses string lines to keep every row of shingles perfectly aligned and evenly spaced. This attention to detail matters big time and separates amateur work from professional craftsmanship. Crooked shingles don't just look amateur hour, they create spots where water pools instead of running off. Whether it's pine or hardwood, these pallet boards prove incredibly adaptable for creating both the vertical supports and the horizontal reinforcements the structure needs, showing that limitations often spark the most creative solutions. This whole process captures what bushcraft construction is really about: working with whatever you can find, building everything by hand, and figuring out how to thrive with the landscape instead of fighting against it. Out here in the wilderness, home construction becomes this raw, genuine experience, completely different from suburban renovations where you just call contractors and swipe credit cards. These builders often combine techniques their great-grandparents would recognize with completely unconventional approaches. Those overlapping roof shingles form this incredible protective layer that laughs at torrential downpours and heavy snow loads alike. Water just sheets right off, while snow slides away before accumulating dangerously. Sure, their uneven colors and rough textures give off serious cabin-in-the-woods energy, but what really matters here is that the structure finally feels complete, a genuine shelter that can handle whatever weather rolls through while looking absolutely gorgeous doing it, aging gracefully rather than deteriorating. Life moves differently out here, and that's entirely the point. Nobody's rushing because there's nowhere urgent to be, no meetings to attend, no traffic to beat. This deliberate slowness creates space for quality work that'll last generations, brings this unexpected inner peace, and builds this profound relationship with the surrounding landscape that most people never experience in their climate-controlled, schedule-driven lives. During this segment, our builder creates a complete window frame from nothing but salvaged lumber and basic hand tools that probably haven't changed design in centuries. Through careful measuring, sawing, fitting, and assembling of every component, he demonstrates that comfortable forest living doesn't require fancy equipment or trips to the hardware store, just patience and know-how passed down through generations of craftspeople. Windows matter way more than just their construction, though, especially when you're living off-grid where every resource counts double. They control your access to daylight, which means less reliance on batteries or candles when the sun's up, saving precious resources that might be impossible to replace without a long trip to town. Strategic window placement brings free solar heat during winter months, while providing essential airflow when things warm up. It's passive climate control at its finest. That cross breeze carries out all the moisture that builds up from cooking, breathing, even drying wet clothes by the fire, preventing mold and mildew that could destroy the structure from within. Fresh, dry air flows in to replace that humid interior atmosphere. Next up, our builder frames the doorway working from inside the cabin outward, a technique that might seem backwards but actually makes perfect sense once you understand the reasoning. This inside-out approach gets used a lot in timber construction because it gives you maximum control over fit and alignment where it matters most on the warm side of the insulation envelope. Working this way lets you match the frame perfectly to your interior walls, cutting down on gaps where cold air sneaks through and creating a super tight, energy-efficient seal that could rival modern construction standards. Once that door frame sits secure with its moisture barrier properly installed and sealed at every joint, he crafts the actual door from reclaimed boards that each need individual preparation and fitting. Building from the inside helps eliminate drafts on the warm side of your walls. Super important when you're working with salvaged materials that might not fit together perfectly like milled lumber would. This attention to sealing matters enormously in cold climates where a tiny gap can waste weeks' worth of firewood over a winter season. The door gets reinforced with horizontal supports and fitted with heavy-duty iron hardware, basic hinges, and latches that might not win any design awards but will definitely outlast anything fancy while standing up to decades of weather and daily use without falling apart or needing adjustment. This entire off-grid cabin showcases what sustainable, environmentally conscious construction actually looks like in practice, not just in theory or architectural magazines. This philosophy creates truly low-impact living through human power, simple tools, and local resources instead of diesel generators and delivery trucks burning fossil fuels. The construction footprint stays tiny. Every material either breaks down naturally or gets reused eventually, and the whole building process burns basically zero fossil fuels except maybe chainsaw gas for processing larger logs. Lesnoy starts building these custom wooden shutters by hand, each one fitted precisely to its specific window opening, since nothing in handmade construction is perfectly standardized. They control airflow and sunlight while maintaining privacy and shade, basically giving you manual climate control for the cabin's interior without any electricity or complex mechanisms. Plus, in wilderness settings, thick wooden shutters become serious security against wildlife encounters that city folks never have to consider. Small critters like raccoons, squirrels, or birds love finding cozy spots to build nests, especially near ventilation openings that promise warmth and shelter from predators. Our builder continues interior work using the exact same moisture blocking and insulation strategy from the exterior walls, creating a complete envelope around the living space. Stapling this barrier material across the inside frame creates a secondary moisture defense system throughout the structure, what builders call the belt and suspenders approach to weatherproofing. Recycled pallet boards installed over the membrane create another insulating air pocket that naturally moderates both temperature and humidity levels indoors through convection currents and thermal mass. These wood panels deliver a finished, rustic appearance while eliminating expensive alternatives like sheetrock or traditional plaster that would require special trips to town and professional installation. The cabin's modest size reflects more than budget constraints. It represents conscious choices about environmental impact, personal values, and lifestyle priorities that reject consumer culture's bigger is better mentality. Building small preserves the forest clearing's ecology. Compact construction moves faster with hand tools, especially working solo with reclaimed materials that require individual attention and custom fitting rather than standardized assembly. Plus, heating efficiency skyrockets in tiny spaces where body heat alone can raise temperatures noticeably. Warming a small cabin through winter takes a fraction of the firewood compared to maintaining comfortable temperatures in larger buildings, crucial when you're cutting and splitting every log yourself with hand tools. The thermal mass of the structure itself becomes a heating element, absorbing warmth during the day and radiating it back at night. Extra wood reinforcement around the door spreads structural loads better and prevents warping or shifting as seasons change and wood moves with moisture content fluctuations. This matters enormously with salvaged pallet wood that might have weak spots, old nail holes, or damage from its previous life, hauling cargo around the world. With walls complete and the roof weatherproofed against everything nature might throw at it, he shifts focus to building custom furniture tailored exactly to the space. This transition marks the evolution from basic shelter to actual home, demonstrating how completely these salvaged materials can transform into everything needed for comfortable living without a single trip to IKEA. Each piece of furniture becomes both functional and structural, often serving double duty as storage and room dividers in the compact space. Building furniture specifically for the space offers huge advantages in off-grid life, where every inch counts and nothing is standard. Every piece fits perfectly in the compact cabin. Every element from structural walls to handmade furniture showcases incredible resourcefulness, skilled craftsmanship, and commitment to sustainable forest living that goes beyond trendy minimalism to true self-sufficiency. His designs balance rough natural textures against clean functional lines, creating pieces that feel completely integrated into the space rather than just placed there. Lesnoy demonstrates an ancient Japanese preservation technique called shosugiban here, which literally translates to burnt cedar board, though it works with many wood species. He chars pallet surfaces over open flames, then brushes away the loose carbon, simultaneously improving both durability and appearance before these boards become interior shelving and furniture pieces that'll last decades longer than untreated wood. That charred surface naturally repels moisture, mold, and insects, since the carbonized layer sheds water and discourages pests who prefer raw wood for food and nesting. It's completely chemical-free preservation, ideal for off-grid cabins where natural, non-toxic protection matters for both health and environmental reasons. The charring process seals wood pores too, reducing seasonal expansion and contraction from humidity changes, maintaining structural stability over time even in varying weather conditions. The treated wood develops these incredible deep tones and highlighted grain patterns that add sophisticated contrast and warmth to furniture pieces, creating visual interest no stain could replicate. Of course, charring each board takes forever. Burning, brushing, sanding, and finishing every piece eats up serious time that could be spent on other tasks. This chair serves the cabin's indoor workspace, where weather protection isn't needed since it's already sheltered from the elements, so the extra rot resistance and bug-proofing charring provides would be wasted effort, showing our builders practical decision-making about when traditional techniques add value. While charring adds durability, it also hardens surfaces uncomfortably for seating, making untreated wood actually preferable for comfort. Every single year, countless wooden pallets hit landfills globally, many after just one shipping cycle. We're talking millions of tons of perfectly usable wood just buried or burned. This waste particularly plagues industries dealing with bulk materials, international shipping, or retail distribution, where returning empties costs more than buying new ones, creating a perverse incentive for waste. The daybed represents genius-level space optimization, bringing both relaxation and functionality to the tiny cabin without cluttering the limited floor area. Its tall backrest, designed with decorative wooden slats, provides visual interest plus proper back support for reading or lounging, turning a simple bench into a multi-purpose furniture piece. Positioned directly beneath the window, it captures maximum daylight while offering peaceful forest views throughout the day, creating a perfect reading nook or meditation space. During gatherings, it provides extra seating, and in emergencies, it could even serve as a second sleeping spot for guests. Following 121 days of intensive construction, with his cabin finally complete and weather-tight, he takes well-deserved time to relax, prepare meals, and explore what the surrounding forest offers beyond building materials. He fashions a fishing rod from natural materials found nearby, demonstrating impressive adaptability and resourcefulness using only what nature provides, skills that separate true bushcrafters from weekend campers. Choosing a riverside location delivers numerous practical advantages for off-grid living that go beyond the obvious water access. Most obviously, unlimited water access supports drinking, cooking, washing, and potential garden irrigation without hauling supplies or worrying about well drilling. Of course, river proximity demands careful consideration of flood risks and seasonal water levels that could threaten the structure during spring melts or heavy rains. His choice to cook fresh catches outside over an open fire instead of using the indoor stove makes perfect sense from multiple angles. It eliminates smoke accumulation indoors, keeps cooking mess outside where cleanup is easier, and avoids grease buildup near interior wood surfaces that could become fire hazards or attract pests. This entire build perfectly demonstrates how little you actually need for creating genuine shelter when you have knowledge, skills, and patience. That chimney represents pure ingenuity. River stones carefully balanced without mortar, held by physics and skilled placement alone, proving that ancient building techniques still work perfectly. His talent for improvisation, whether turning scraps into furniture or crafting fishing gear from forest branches, proves the power of self-sufficiency combined with traditional knowledge that's rapidly disappearing from modern society. Given enough patience, clear intentions, and genuine connection to the land, anyone can create meaningful shelter with their own hands, though few will match this level of craftsmanship. The creator featured throughout belongs to the Lesnoy channel, and these folks aren't just playing at Bushcraft for views. This passionate group dedicates themselves to hands-on construction, self-sufficient living, and meaningful reconnection with natural environments that most of us have completely lost. Here's the completed rustic sanctuary, fully equipped for sleeping, cooking, working, and living comfortably through all seasons. As darkness falls, there's no power grid needed, just firelight and oil lamps providing illumination that creates a completely different ambiance than electric bulbs ever could. This scene captures true independence from modern infrastructure, where comfort comes from knowledge, preparation, and appreciation for simple necessities rather than complex technology that eventually breaks down and needs replacement. These lanterns deliver more than just light. They create this contemplative environment that perfectly matches the cabin's fundamental philosophy of intentional living. Living deliberately, unhurriedly, following natural rhythms instead of artificial schedules that disconnect us from natural cycles. Without glowing screens or harsh electric lights, your mind naturally settles into peaceful patterns, syncing with sunrise and sunset instead of alarms and notifications that create chronic stress and anxiety in modern life. This project created far more than physical shelter. It established an entire approach to living deliberately that challenges everything consumer culture tells us we need. If this connected with you, definitely check out Lesnoy's channel for more thoughtful construction projects that combine traditional wisdom with creative problem solving. Thanks for joining us on this journey into sustainable building, and make sure you're following for more bushcraft builds and off-grid adventures that prove life's best experiences don't require a mortgage or utility bills.